Cryin, but I would anticipate with this team, with RNG,
Probably
it's
Xiaohu.
very likely to go to Xiaohu. And you'd anticipate probably a jungle lock in here, but actually, yeah, Nocturne also made it through the bans. So that could be jungle, that could be mid, that could be top. We don't really know where these picks are going to go.
Flex on flex on flex.
Also, worth mentioning, Lilia is available right now. Wape may be the best Lilia in the league. Definitely is most played across the split. Incredible Lilia player. So I would like to see the Nocturne in the mid lane and Lilia come through for Way.
And Lilia makes perfect sense here because she's an AP jungler now smack dab in between two AD laners in Nocturne and Renekton. So I'm with you. I think the Lilia is incoming. That does mean that bot lane will get pinched. Oh, this is the white flag being raised. JackeyLove and Zhuo are like, give me Tahm, Kench, Senna. I'm out. Like, I don't want to toot my own horn too much, but I did exactly call that this was the draft that top esports would go to. I think I've watched too much of this team. I've drunk too much of the Kool-Aid. They just surrender the bot side, play towards 369. I love it. This is exactly what they need to do. Okay, but this is interesting now. So in response, Gala's like, I have to get my Kaisa now, otherwise it's going to be pinched. That does mean that the Lilia can be taken away, especially now that you have Karsa on Olaf. So I would expect that top esports are going to start pinching the jungle pool right now, as well as potentially taking things away like that Nautilus, like that Rel, or different support champions that give Gala and Ming a strong setup lane.
It's kind of interesting. It feels like top esports have quite a few things that they need to ban. I love the Quinn ban. That's a lot of respect for 369 right there. It also says, yes, definitely we're taking this Renekton towards the top side here. But 369 will still have picks available. You mentioned the Rel ban. It is going to be taken away by top.
I wonder if they'll also ban the Jax then and just try to deny any sort of hyperscaling that 369 would have on a side lane. You still have things like the Jace, the Camille, and the Jax that he can go for, as well as if he wants to play weak side Sion, but with Senna, Kench, you would imagine that he'd be playing more of kind of a hard carry champion.
Yeah, I will say with the Camille, I don't know whether he'll play that. Nuguri drew a very famous picture of a 0-3 Camille getting whacked against a Renekton, so I don't know if the new items changed that matchup at all, but Rakan going to be banned away. So kind of the two supports with the very same identity that Ming can just brute force those big engages.
And it's also, again, denying exactly that, the hard engages. Something that both these compositions are missing is relative hard engage, which is why I really was just about to talk about the Leona. The Leona is actually really necessary.
So Leona locked in here, and we'll see what top esports answer with. They need some solo laners to come on through here. I mean,
they can get Orianna,
could go
Twisted Fate.
You could go Sion, right? There's an argument to be made for just go Sion and just play towards late game. You've got a Senna, scaling across the board, or an Akali. An Akali could come through too. It looks like Knight is going to bring that one to the table. I'm excited, Frost. Let's go.
He just insta-locked it in. He was like, okay. I was thinking that he was going to play it safe. He would go for the Ori. No, just insta-lock that Akali. You have a range matchup now into Renekton Gnar. I think we've all seen this one a million times, but my eyes are obviously going to be on this Akali and what Knight is going to be able to get done. I don't know so much about Sylas. I guess Sylas's matchup into Akali can be okay, because when she goes in on him, he can get a lot of the health back.
I'm not going to pretend
like
that I know
better.
The Sylas Akali matchup. Yeah, actually, you can just swap the Renekton to the mid lane. And Gnar as well might not have as good of a matchup against Sylas as he does against Renekton. So, yeah, a bit of swip and a swapping could come through. But don't be baited too hard, guys, because it's very possible that we get in the game and these players actually swap on the map as well. So there could be some serious lane swap shenanigans in this one. I'm excited for the Knight Akali, though, especially after what he did to Cryin in game number 1. You expect this Akali to do pretty good.
And he also has a lot of really great targets. You know, there's not a very traditional front line from RNG's composition. They went for Nocturne jungle as opposed to a traditional tanky jungler. You know, it's a bruiser top side, or excuse me, bruiser mid, bruiser top side. So if this Akali does get rolling, we always talk about it. It's usually the initial first item power spike that allows her to have assassination onto a side lane. Knight can take over a game, but it's now a question of, will the Knight to the golden left hand return, or are we going to get more of the 2021 Knight where, frankly, he's been pretty underwhelming to what our expectations are of this player?
That is the big question. That's what I was about to bring up as well. Do we get the World Swarm? Do we get the Knight that can single carry games? Do we get the MSC Knight, where he was dominating the LCK and showing up massively on an international stage? He's locked in the Akali. He blind picked that for the mid lane. Super confident pickup. Can he bring that confidence to the Rift and hard carry game number 2? That'll be the question as we head onto the Rift. And RNG, with the momentum here, they locked themselves in a very consistent draft, a very confident draft with the Renekton in the mid lane. But do Top Esports have the answer with the Senna on the bot side? They've changed styles. Will it be enough?
Coming into the game and checking across keystones, as I'm sure the crowd's going wild right now. Can't actually tell, but I have no game sounds. I'm just listening to like some soft, smooth jazz. Nothing quite out of the ordinary. Fleet footwork being picked up by Xiaohu, which kind of tells me that he's probably going to stay in the Gnar matchup and get some health back to work with being in a range versus melee matchup, as well as kind of the inbuilt sustain that's going to be on Sylas's kit. If you guys aren't big Akali players, it's old, but the presence of mind changes were kind of like the big thing that swung Akali, at least in the LEC pros' mind, from unplayable to back into OP range. But the old cloth 4-pot start, I haven't seen that in a long time.
There was a website long ago called Cloth 5, which was like the
Graves ADC
for top
start.
laners. Yeah. And you could go into Wriggle's Lantern off the back of a Cloth 5 start. Cloth 4, not quite the same, but you know, it's kind of a nice reference to the olden days of Cloth 5 as a start.
Yeah, and actually giving a lot of respect. I know, right? Everyone else in the league's like, no, we don't like that. Giving a lot of respect to this Renekton matchup, as Cryin has apparently just had enough of it. So, taking stock of where the junglers are starting, it was leashless starts from both junglers. Karsa, of course, on the top side, starting the blue, which is really helpful for Olaf to keep his mana topped up. It makes him a much faster jungler, and obviously if he's lower health, it means he moves that much faster through the jungle just because of how Olaf's kit works. Whereas Wei, starting on bot side, pathing top, it should just be full clears for both sides. Reminder that if Wei doesn't get any other experience from things like kills or wards or shenanigans, that he'll be level 6 at 2.5 clears. And that's kind of the secret with the Nocturne, is it's can you get through 2.5 clears without everything breaking on your map?
That would be the question. That would be the question for Karsa, actually, as well. Can he start to accelerate this game before that point? Because Olaf definitely doesn't need to wait until level 6 to start making things happen. But also, right now, in the bottom lane, massive priority in favor of JackeyLove and Zhuo. Do you expect that to continue? Like, can Karsa just play through that bottom side and start to stack dragons?
I mean, yeah, as Olaf, you can definitely start clearing dragons at level 4, and it's kind of like full clear Olaf, walk to bot side, and then you can use Blast Cone over the wall as long as you have a control ward and take that one pretty safely. Now, the thing about Nocturne is that while we do talk about him as a jungler that likes to get to the level 6 and open up that ultimate, if he finds you and he's able to connect A, the Q, and then B, the fear, Nocturne is actually an incredible duelist, and wins most jungle matchups. And we're about to see how much damage he can do if he can get the flash off of 369.
Well, there's the flash followed by the fear here, but the hop is beautiful. The minion wave arrives at just the perfect moment, and 369 gets away with it.
I'm also going to say that was a bit ambitious from Wei to force the flash. You can obviously check what the minion wave is going to be doing because it's mirrored, so you can look at your own minion wave if you're ever confused where the enemy's minion wave is going to be. And that gives so much information for Karsa to come in and, again, disrupt this Nocturne's pathing. So we need to keep our eyes on Wei to make sure that he makes the right decision, and he is. Taking both crab. Oh, no, he's resetting. He's just going to get denied his jungle and denied his 6 clear.
He's only going to be on 1.5 clears because guess what? Karsa is going to take the Grump away. I thought he was going to move to the Wolves as well, but it looks like he's just going to recall on this one and go back to clearing himself. He can move back up to the top side where the Grump has already respawned and path down towards that Drake that we were talking about before as well. So now let's take a moment and talk about what RNG are looking to do, because they're the ones in the lead right now, 1-0 in this series. You've got the Nocturne that once we hit level 6, it's going to work. But with the Sylas and the Renekton in the solo lanes, this composition's identity seems a little funky. How are they meant to play this one out? I'm going to hold that thought, actually. As JackeyLove getting chased down here. Wei's here, but has no flash, remember. They have no real way to close the gap unless Top Esports just walk at them. TP's come in from both sides, but JackeyLove has just walked into the loving arms of the enemy right here. RNG take an easy fight. JackeyLove, what are you doing, mate?
I'm honestly mad that happened. I'm I'm honestly upset. I'm very salty. What in the world? How does that happen? You're Senna Tahm Kench and you lose to a level 4 Nocturne?
That has no flash.
So the gobble comes out early. Ming does a really good job holding the Q to hit JackeyLove when he's
just leave.
Immediately ejected from the other side. And then they double down on the TPs, not keeping track of the E cooldown on Leona, which is something like 9 seconds. It's really short. And now suddenly, Nocturne has a kill and an assist. It doesn't matter anything that was taken from his jungle, because now he's gotten both top wave and bot wave, as well as assistance to kills. Like, Karsa, you can, oh, okay, he got level 6. That was really luck.
Here we go. Karsa has to take things into his own hands. He's like, you know what? If JackeyLove's going to run it, then I'm going to run it in 2 ways.
Okay, Karsa, I apologize. You had it on the time. You're like, I'm about to get level 6 and just destroy this kid.
I'm about to end this man's whole jungle path. Karsa just annihilates way. And you know what? We've got a bit of a jungle dip here, bit of a forest gap, bit of a woodland gulf, if you will, vegetation disparity, bit of a foliage dissonance.
Listen, it's 54 to 33.
It's Karsa, bit of a diffy of the jiffy, I think.
Karsa's doing his best, but his bot lane's leaving me scratching my head a little bit. That said, it's only been one. JackeyLove and Zhuo have time to clean it up, to get it back on track, but this Nocturne is going to be level 6 relatively soon, and here we go, round 4.
No. The Shroud comes out from JackeyLove. I don't know if it's going to be enough. This time he's able to flash away, though. No flash still from Wei, so JackeyLove can survive. Zhuo goes back into the fray, but flashes out himself.
Here comes Knight.
Knight is here to arrive. We want the Akali to be the carry for top esports. This is a perfect opportunity for him to get kills, but with the TP coming in, maybe this all goes wrong. Ming has gone a little bit deep on this one as Knight commits to the play, goes straight onto Wei in the backline, and he can look for Ming as well. Knight with the double, but it's Xiaohu who also has the perfect execution. It's complete chaos, but RNG come out on top.
It is the triple down from top esports there to pull Knight in, and just the raw brute force mechanics to pick up 2 kills on this Akali is going to be massive for them. There is finally like a little spark of light, because also Xiaohu's going to lose all of these minions, and 369 is going to potentially get a plate, at least pick up 2 waves of gold. Is going to feel a lot better, but you know, if this went wrong, I was ready to just throw in the towel. I was like, it's a disaster. It is clearly a trap. Do not go bot lane. But the triple down here as Knight also shows up. The TP comes in. Really good use of the Shroud here for Knight to give him enough time to get around. Like you said, he goes in on Wei and then uses the flash and finds Ming in a little concave? I don't know.
I think concave is the right one on that one.
Concave.
Yeah. As you rightly say, though, Knight beautifully playing that one. Wei actually with a really nice spell shield to spell shield the perfect execution. The timing on that is real hard to pull off, but it wasn't enough. But still, nice, cute little mechanic. And the same from Xiaohu stealing that perfect execution to get the kill on JackeyLove at the end of the fray. So, all things considered, RNG up in kills right now, but top esports ahead in gold. This is what we always talk about with top esports. When it comes to the laning phase, they are the team that gets ahead every single time.
But what does it amount to? So, Karsa,
Rift Herald is the answer.
Don't do it. He's going to do it anyway. He's assuming, so Karsa's making an educated guess that because the enemy blue buff is up, that Wei is already pathing bot side. And so, now that he can see people moving up through river, no, Karsa, don't ping assist me. Walk away from it.
He's committing. I respect it. Karsa is a man of his word. He sees the Herald, he goes for the Herald. Can he get the smite down? I'm not even sure who got it. I think it was Karsa who's finally died. Wei might answer though. 369 looking to answer that kill. JackeyLove is stuck in the fray, but gobbled up, kicked towards the rest of his team. He's out with his life, but Gala dives into the backline. Dawning Shadow is there. Ming is low. JackeyLove chased down here. Top esports still 3 strong. Perfect execution into the fray. Knight in the middle of everyone. Cryin doesn't have the damage to turn this one around. Nod into the wall and taken down by the ninja. It's a quadra kill for 369 as he chases for more. How does the Gnar get the quadra kill?
Yeehaw! The circus came to town, Munch. Buckle up because we have a straight fiesta. Oh boy. Okay. There was no reason to double down on that Rift Herald, but, you know, whatever. Rewarded for it because your Gnar just got a quadra kill, and I believe Knight did he pick up a kill? No, he just picked up multiple assist points. I think Knight's like, imagine if I had picked up that quadra kill.
Every single kill here. I think Karsa actually got the Herald before going down there as well.
But what? At what cost? Like, this is a point where Top Esports like, yeah, it's fine. We won the skirmish. But like, should you have? My favorite thing is Gala goes into the back line and then walks directly into the Senna ultimate, even though he could have stood to the side and not eaten the Senna ultimate and loses like 25% of his HP. And here we go again.
It's never stopping in this game. Karsa just runs it, but gets a nice easy kill on that one. JackeyLove can now just run at the tower, and guess what? They got the Herald. It all worked out for Top Esports, so they're going to snowball this lead in the bottom side. But in fact, Karsa, I think, just moves over to the Drake instead.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a mid-Herald, I would imagine, because that gold and those plates are worth a lot more for Akali. That said, the mid lane is, in my opinion, worth a lot less than it used to be in terms of map control. Maybe not so much in this game because it's Akali versus Renekton, but in a meta that's had so many Azirs and Corkis, it's oftentimes better to use the Herald out into the side lane, which is what it looks like Karsa's actually going to do, because it makes it that much easier to get deep into the enemy jungle and then use the pressure of a potential dive on those champions to get them to back up from the mid lane, whereas it used to be that everyone and their mother would just drop Herald into mid lane because taking mid tower meant so much more for control over into entrances of river.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, especially with the fact that Karsa could just brute force this Drake as well, you just got JackeyLove so much time to just hit this tower so they can take away all of the easy plates, and then Karsa just skips on back, drops the Herald, sets his recall off. He's quite happy to just get a bit of bonus gold there. So JackeyLove gets a huge gold injection right there. Already finished the Kraken Slayer. JackeyLove is massive 12 minutes into this game.
Now, one of the things with this composition is because they're not running like a traditional attack speed ADC, not that Senna can't move very quickly, but she doesn't have the same traditional wave clear as something like a Jinx, a Kaisa, a Tristana, is how they're going to compete for the mid-wave prio when we do eventually drop those towers. And this is the other thing that I like. If Senna and Tahm Kench are going to play vacuum duty or Hoover duty in the mid lane, and now you're on an extended lane, as long as Knight controls this minion wave, he can deny a lot of gold or set up a lot of kill pressure for himself on whoever from RNG wants to come try to deal with this Akali on a side lane.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to really punish, and as you mentioned before as well, the Renekton can do well into the Akali. The thing is though, and this feels like a very fanciful caveat on this. This is Knight's Akali. Knight is a mechanical genius. I'm really excited to see what he can do in those kind of situations, because I feel like Akali is the pick that if you're in the kind of 1v2s, 1v3s, it's one of those picks that you really, really can just show off so much individual skill, and Knight is the player to do that.
I mean, we've already seen it, so you're absolutely right, Munch. You know, this has been Top Esports running face first into skirmishes and just pressing their buttons better. As at this point in the game, it's literally going to be looking for snaps. Snaps on mid lane, either through this Leona or through the Paranoia. You can see Wei is... that's cute. You can see Wei is kind of pathing in between his top and his mid lane as Ming's like, I got him. Oh shit, he got me. Okay, here we go.
Ming all-ins and just gets one shot, but the heal actually comes through and he survives. JackeyLove was the one to go down in the end. Xiaohu arrives as well. Karsa just has to flee from this one. It's 4 versus 3 as Knight re-enters the fight here. It's just going to be RNG managing to trade, but it's 1-for-1 ultimately.
And ultimately, I'm going to say that that's actually really good for Top Esports, not just because our fantastic observer is showcasing everything that 369 got here while retaining his teleport, but the fact is that RNG's composition is super dependent on these big cooldowns, using things like the Paranoia, you know, the fact that Xiaohu just used his teleport, that all they really got was the kill on JackeyLove and the flash from Karsa. It's not like they were able to turn that around into a dragon or a tower or any pressure. So across map, they actually lost more there. And JackeyLove is on a low econ champion like Senna. Senna doesn't need a ton of gold to be able to do her job like a Tristana does. So I think this is actually a really good position for Top Esports going to 130 for this dragon. Like 369 just needs to push this top wave like an absolute banana and then start killing Xiaohu or rotating. He's gonna kill him.
No bananas here because iBoy's not in the game, but 369 is making a banana out of Xiaohu here. Can dump on forward. He doesn't even need to. Just slams the Gnar down. And guess what? Knight is here to back him up. So Cryin's arrived, but he suddenly realized that he's outnumbered because JackeyLove and Zhuo have arrived on the scene as well. Out of nowhere, the whole squad's turned up.
What did you say about my brother? It's basically like, it's a bar fight. What did you say about my friend? And then suddenly they all roll out of the woodwork. You're like, guys, come on. The dragon is spawning in 50 seconds.
Pop up in the Corsa. They've got the spoiler on the back. They've got the tunes pumping out the window. The whole squad's here. Donny soldiers.
Get in, loser. We're going to the dragon pit. I just want a Mean Girls Tahm Kench skin. Just Regina George.
I don't want to imagine that. That sounds horrific, honestly. But here we go, 369 over the wall. He doesn't even get feared. He just walks away from it. No, not even a single drop of sweat on his brow.
369 is breaking their ankles right now, and they're going to get the Herald. They can drop that mid lane. They can waddle over to the dragon. Top Esports looking fantastic in this lane phase into early mid game. And is this enough, Munch? Is this gold lead enough of the skirmishes that when it comes to using their 5-man brain power that they can get over and actually close out this game?
See, I'm going to answer your rhetorical question here and say yes. It's 369 and Xiaohu just duel it again. Cryin gets obliterated. Knight does not care about your dignity, Cryin. He is going to body you every single game of this series.
And this is something that I really wanted to talk about, is the 1-3-1 nature of their composition with Senna and using the Senna ultimate to quickly swing out into the side and then basically just mean like, I have Knight and 369 who are on great 1v1 champions, but then I also have an Abyssal Voyage and I also have a Senna ultimate to turn the tides. And then you just have Karsa basically as a swing in between one of his solo laners and his bot lane in the mid position. And you can't lose a 5v5 if you never 5v5.
It's true. It's ingenious. We can take another look at this. It's just... I mean, there's a pretty significant goal gap between these players at this point, so it feels a little overkill to go for the replay here, honestly. But Karsa getting chased down. Did get the Drake for himself. I think he will answer with his own life, but, you know, got the Drake worth.
That was the anger. That was the desperation ultimate. It was like a, not today.
Yeah, it's a little unlucky. At least Wei gets the answer for himself. And now 369 is like,
Gala.
We're a man down. Time to force a fight. Knight going in onto Gala, who is just obliterated. JackeyLove getting that kill. Ming is caught out as well. This is feeling real dicey for RNG. This is a team that I was just calling intelligent. I was calling calculator. I was saying they understand how top esports are meant to play the game. Not in game 2, they don't.
No, this is a see hero, kill hero type of game. Top Esports have grabbed RNG and they have dragged them down to their level. They will not allow them to 5v5. They will not allow them any chance to breathe. Reminder again that RNG's comp is really dependent on key cooldowns. They have really big windows before they can get ready and prepare for fights, whereas Top Esports' composition isn't really like that. They can go through cooldowns multiple times. You know, their ultimates aren't the key factor for a lot of these champions, especially in these matchups. They can just play those side lanes really safely. So I like the fact that Top Esports with this comp can just keep the pedal to the metal. They can keep pressure on all 3 lanes and are forcing RNG to make very snap-second decisions, and RNG are just making the wrong decisions, and then that leaves someone else exposed, and then 1 kill turns into 2 kills, turns into 3 kills, turns into 13 to 8, and a pretty massive gold lead, closing in on 10K at this point for Top Esports. This is like 1 team fight away. Okay.
Hang on, 369 is just getting dived because he's basically under the enemy tier 2 at this point. Finally, a shutdown goes into the pocket of Xiaohu. It's a good pickup for RNG. Top Esports don't have an answer either. They'll just grab a Gromp and have to move away from this one.
Guys, what are you doing? I just complimented you. And you're on wolf camp when you give away 1,000 gold to a Sylas. He's now got the OP item. Oh no, they're gonna double down.
They're gonna say worth it. They're gonna commit to the 4v5 right here. But Ming misses the Zenith Blade. It's a disaster. And he answers with his life. Knight goes into the backline as Cryin. Blasted by the Dawning Shadow. Xiaohu's on the flank, but you can't 1v4. You're not Knight. You're not on the Akali. Doesn't work out. And Top Esports, they just call the bluff. They're like, you know what? We're stronger than you. Bring it on.
Was it calling the bluff or was it massive mechanical mistakes? I think it was like a kind of a mixture of both. You know, missing that key ultimate, definitely not going to help there, but top esports, like you said, get out unscathed and continue to snowball here. But that could have been the brake pump on top esports running away with this game. At this point, I think top esports are just going to slap RNG with their gold or with their wallets. I don't think you can overcome this type of gold difference in these types of compositions.
Yeah, it does. I mean, look, here's the thing with that play. That is 101 top esports, right? What's the big weakness that we saw in this series, in their previous round 4 series?
Greed.
It was that they overextended when they had a massive lead. And sure, they get away with it this time, but that was still a massive overextension from 369. And you can see, he has not learned from that, because he is currently trying to 1v4 to get the kill onto Cryin. 369 does not care about the rules of League of Legends. He plays how he wants to play.
It is a live fast, die young style of team, but just flexing on RNG right now. This this Nocturne 4-3-4 has not had the impact that they wanted to, and it's simply because RNG's lanes just really collapsed. And it started with that early skirmish where Knight was able to pick up kills, and then it finalized over that Rift Herald skirmish where Gnar got massive. That quadra kill has made 369 into an absolute god on top of his comfort with that champion in this matchup. Like you said, he was 1v3 just a minute ago. He was styling on Xiaohu into the top lane. He is pretty godly at this moment and also has TP into Gnar, so RNG need to be careful.
Yeah, this could be the moment where the game becomes unwinnable for RNG if they lose a fight. Grouped up as a 5-stack for top esports as Wei goes into the team here, but Gala doesn't stand a chance. There's nothing you can do against this combo. And the fight is already over. JackeyLove just picking up the final kills. In fact, it's Zhuo to get a couple there. As 369 finishes off the last player. And honestly, that was a brutal fight. Top esports just smack RNG.
And it's like you said, you know, there's nothing that Gala can do to stop a Ragnarok Olaf and an Akali from just assassinating him in the backline. You put that on top of the range and reach that Senna has to just the line damage the Q through everyone. JackeyLove is chunking them out right now. Went for the Kraken Ghostblade build. So looking for that not lethality, but that attack speed oriented Senna. And it's nice to see JackeyLove. I know he's pretty well known for Tristana. I always thought that he was probably one of the best Senna players in the world. Watching him play Senna at Worlds was just beautiful. It was like a masterclass, and he looks much more comfortable on this champion and how he's setting up his team and how the team fights are going.
Let's take another look at what went down. You just see Gala just getting run down. And then, because of the gold lead as well, karsa and Knight are like, yeah, 2v3, no worries, easy.
I mean, it was like the difference of they're trying to assassinate JackeyLove and Zhuo just eats him. And it's like 3 people just standing around Tahm Kench just like, stop it, let him out. Meanwhile, Gala's like diving under cars and just trying to like juke away. He's got like Akali like flipping after him and Olaf just smacking him in the head. He's like, I wish I had a Tahm Kench right now, and all I have is this Leona, and that's not doing anything for me.
Let's just take a second and appreciate the Tahm Kench here, because it's often... we don't have time for a second. Knight's in trouble here. Flashed on, but the perfect execution to get out. Wei's trying to chase this kill. He's going to tank the tower. Dawning Shadow comes out for the shield, though. Wei's in trouble, but the 5-point strike misses on that one. Zhonya's has come through in the meantime. Xiaohu is looking... No, karsa turns it around. What is Olaf right now? That is disgusting. And now onto Ming as well. Ming will surely fall as Zhuo flashes for the kill. But the supports will combat somehow. Top esports come out on top. 3-0-13 for Zhuo. He's looking for a Tahm Kench MVP. Has that sentence ever been said?
He's looking for the Tahm Kench ban right now. Now, while all of this was happening, Knight was also able to pick up the kill on Cryin before finally falling down. And speaking of Cryin, I will remember you.
Yeah, RNG gonna be crying after this one, because this is just... I don't even have words for the kind of domination we're seeing here. Top esports with more than a kill a minute on their side as they break down the mid lane in here.
Oh, they're trying to double up on that. Here comes Paranoia.
Yeah, gobbled up once again, spit him over the wall, so JackeyLove's going to be completely safe. This is 3 versus 4, and top esports don't give a monkeys. Cryin will fall next, 369 to get that kill as Gala is taken down. Wei killed underneath his tower. There's just nothing you can do. This is an FF at 20.
I think this was an FF as soon as Gnar got the quadra kill. So what looked like a pretty dominant series from RNG, at least in game number 1, has turned into an absolute fiesta, but the party kings are here to party, and it is a top esports for game number 2.
Yeah, as soon as you get into a fiesta, top esports are going to challenge you to a dance-off, and now they're going to be dancing all over the fountain as well. Ming goes in and is immediately slammed against the wall. JackeyLove is punished, loses his KDA, but it doesn't matter. 30-13 is the final score as top esports, the defending LPL champions, even up the series against RNG.
They're the epitome of the LPL. Like, they are the essence of the LPL, where you can just have an absolute shellacking of a game where basically every lane pulls it out, where you just start styling on your opponent, and then in game number 1 you just look so lost. But the thing is that top esports were still making really questionable macro calls, but they were able to just outplay their way out of it and like respect to it. But also I'm like, oh no. It can go so wrong so quickly.
And it almost did. It almost did as well. But the thing is, like, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the mojo with top esports. Like, that play in the bottom lane from Knight. We talked about it. The big 4v4 that happened in the bot lane with the TPs coming through. That was the moment where RNG could throw this composition off from top esports and start to build a lead for themselves. But Knight pulls out the individual outplay on the Akali, and that's the mojo that I'm talking about. That's that extra secret sauce that top esports has, and that's one of the reasons that I consistently I can never bet against this team. There's always that factor.
They remind me a lot of G2 in playing this style of like constantly, we would say, moving the chains. G2 never like to have gold sitting in their inventory. They like to constantly take skirmishes, get 1v1 skill checks, and then spin the gold, so they always have a slight advantage because it's about that confidence in you as an individual player to outplay your opponent. And then even if you're given a slight lead of 150 gold, 300 gold, you know, whatever it is, that it doubles down on how quickly you can continue to skill check and constantly making your opponents choose. So it's phenomenal to watch, and it's really fun to see, especially when it all comes together. It's still not a lot of team coordination in play. You know, the individual members were playing really well together, like JackeyLove and Zhuo. You know, I'm assuming one of them gets the MVP. Maybe it goes tonight, but I'm kind of on your side, where I think Zhuo and JackeyLove should basically together be up for MVP. Very different performance. They were playing phenomenally together. Knight was doing his thing, Karsa was doing his thing, and 369 was doing his thing. But again, it's not top esports doing their thing, and that's now going to be the story of this series. You know, do RNG get broken down where they get stuck in all of these different skirmishes and just get beaten down by the lane dominance and the mechanical dominance of top, or do RNG kind of go back to the drawing board, draft a more traditional 5v5 composition, and just try to outlast top esports, give them the gold lead, but let top esports beat themselves when it comes to playing over things like Dragon Soul or Baron?
Yeah, that'll be the question on who can build the momentum in the early game, because that feels like the story of this one so far. Also, random side note, blind Renekton on red side, 0% win rate in this series so far. Maybe a strategy that we should start to move away from. It's a conversation that's been going on for more than a year now. But maybe it's time to adapt, guys. Maybe it's time to move on.
It offers so much that, like, we can flex it. It sets up for our jungler, but yeah, I'm in agreement.
All right, we're going to a quick break. We're going to be back with game number 3. This is my hand. There is a series on it. We're going to game 3 right after this.